Alrighty, let's go ahead and get this going here. Turn my camera on. Here we go. We have just had a tornado warning go into effect here. We're going to be covering this in Illinois. Give me 1 second here to get this up and going. Was not prepared to go live here. Just saw the warning. And we're going to go ahead and add this into the Illinois stream as well. There we go. We're running. So this is a new tornado warning that has just been issued here for Illinois. It's going to be radar indicated. And the counties included with this are going to be Marion and Fayette County in south central Illinois. And that's going to go until roughly 6 p.m. central local time out there. Get my radars pulled up here so I can get on this and stay on this. There we go. We'll take a peek at the rotation here and see where it's at for you guys just in a moment here. All right, there we go. Get that set up. We're going to take a 4-panel on that. Perfect. Perfect. All right, cool. So again, this is going to be a tornado warning for south central Illinois, for Marion, and I'm not sure you guys can hear that or not, but for Marion and Fayette counties, and that's going to go until 6 p.m. So this red box here is going to be the area of interest here. We go ahead and look on our reflectivity or on our velocity map here. The area we're most concerned about is going to be right up here where this red and this green right in here are going to be meeting here. It's not very strong rotation, but it is indicating that this storm is rotating nonetheless. So they want to go ahead and issue the warning. A lot of these storms today in Iowa especially, but also Illinois applies here as well. We've had a couple of tornado reports out in Iowa that did not show up on radar very well at all. So I think that's playing a factor into why they're warning this, even though the rotation on this is not very strong, just because we've already seen a couple tornadoes today out in Iowa that have looked similar to this velocity signature here. So just being careful here, I think. Definitely a possibility we could see a tornado spin up out of this, but we're going to stay with this until that warning expires, as long as it takes. But looking on the reflectivity here, you can see the little bit of a hook here on the storm that kind of curves back in on itself there in the storm here. So we'll stay with this as long as it takes for the warning to expire. But to the south here on this storm as well, we're seeing some indication that this is also rotating just barely, and also right down here, this one could be rotating as well near Aquaville. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Aquaville. You guys got some weird names out there, but this storm to the south of the tornado warning is labeled as a tornado possible, but it does have a severe warning for 68-mile-per-hour winds as well as 1.25-inch hail, which is going to be equivalent here to right around $half size hail. And these storms here are tracking off to the east northeast here. So places in the path of this tornado warning is going to be crossing Highway 51 here north of Vernon here, heading toward Wilburton, Edgewood, going to head basically between St. Elmo and Watson here, right along Highway 57 here in south central Illinois. So this is going to be tracking off to the east northeast. We're going to go ahead and track this off at right around, let's go ahead and put 40 in. I did not get the text of that warning. Let me go ahead and pull that right back up, make sure it's accurate here. Moving east at 50. So let's go ahead and redo that one at 50 miles per hour just to get a better idea of some places included here. So in places included, Vernon in 5 minutes, Augsburg in 10 minutes, Leicester in 12, St. Paul in 14, Confidence in 18, St. Peter in 20, St. James in 25, Gilmore in 32. We'll go ahead and leave it right there. We have a lot more cities here to cover, but we're going to wait until this moves off a bit further to track those. Total population, though, in the path of this is right around 20,000 people. So quite a populated area in this warning box here. And it's also in the storm here. Also looking at that storm a little bit further south. Go ahead and turn that off. That's a little bit annoying. Let's go ahead and go further south here. We have an area of rotation here as well that's currently not warned, but we could very well see that go warned pretty quickly here. It's going to be moving off just to the south of this storm. So these storms are rotating, not very hard on radar, but they are rotating nonetheless. Areas in this particular warning box here, or this particular storm, would be Sandoval, Patoka, Kinmundi and Omega here. Also Highway 57 here. So Tonti, Alma, Brubaker, Fairman also in the path of this southern storm that's currently not tornado warned, but does carry a severe thunderstorm warning with it. So we'll be tracking these storms as they move off to the east and northeast here. And it looks like the rotation, that northern cell is picking up just a bit here. We're seeing these a little bit brighter returns here on this color here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our CC product here. CC, correlation coefficient, is basically a product that we look at that we could see debris being wafted in the atmosphere that's bigger than raindrops or hailstones. It'll show up as blue, sometimes green or yellow. So we do have a little bit of something here that may try to line up here. I'm going to take a little bit closer look at this on my other radar. This is on the KVWX radar. I'm on the KLSX radar. Let's go ahead and take a peek here. We're on the WVX. We're going to take this one, zoom in. It's so hard to tell though. We're going to say that's not on the ground at this point, but there is a little bit of a CC drop in there, so it definitely could be. I think it's mostly clear air here. If I go ahead and circle that right on Highway 51 there, this is going to be the 623 scan. Let's go ahead and compare that over here. This is going to be the 623 scan. So the CC isn't really lining that up too much, but it does bear watching here as this storm's rotation is tightening. This is not Michigan, John. This is going to be Illinois. This is south central Illinois, for those of you just tuning in. Marion County, as well as this is going to be Marion and Fayette counties in south central Illinois. So Michigan does not have a threat tonight. This is a regional page, not a Michigan page. So we're going to cover the 5 states around the Great Lakes, which is why you're seeing us go live here. So again, this is Illinois. This is not Michigan, not Indiana, not Ohio, not Wisconsin. It is Illinois. So wait for the new scan here to come in. I got a couple radars pulled up here. So I'm tracking this at all angles possible. I believe the KVWX radar might be a little bit lower to the ground if I'm not mistaken with this. It's about the same. We're going to leave it right here though. Yes, that secondary storm. Both of these storms are really trying to strengthen and tighten up the rotation here just a bit here. So wait for the next scan here. I got the 23 scan on my end. So yeah, just waiting for new scan. It's coming in here any second now. Looks like we just got the new scan in at 626, and that's still a good signature there to warrant attention. It's good rotation, not tight by any means. You want to see those reds and greens start coming together. They are together, but they're not really like tight. You're not seeing these brighter greens meet the brighter reds just yet. Also down here is broadly rotating just north of Sandoval here. Any chasers on these storms? I don't see any on these, although I probably had that turned off. Let me go ahead and turn those back on here, see if anybody's out chasing this. There's a couple of them out here. Who is this? There is Reef Branson and Bemi King. I do not know either one of those. So not many chasers out chasing across Illinois. So looks like we'll be on radar duty here, and we'll confirm anything that we hear on social media directly to you as we get the information ourselves. So for those of you just tuning in, this is a tornado warning and also a severe thunderstorm warning in south central Illinois. The tornado warning is for Marion and Fayette counties until 6 p.m. Central. They just trimmed that warning back here, so they're updating it, keeping that in effect, continuing it on until 6 p.m. And then also this warning down here is a severe warning, and that's going to be for $half size hail, as well as a tornado being possible with this southern storm. The rotation in there is not as tight as the one up here to the north, but it does bear some watching here, as the environment today does support rotating storms. So we'll have to watch these as they move across south central Illinois here towards the southwest Indiana border. The further east they go, though, the worse the atmosphere becomes. So this threat should stop pretty much at the border of Indiana, if not just carrying over just a bit into Indiana. And then after that, it should die off pretty quickly here. So the environment across this region about right here is favorable, but over here in Indiana, it's not. So for those of you watching from like the Vincennes, Terre Haute area, Indianapolis, you guys shouldn't have anything to worry about with this, but we'll be watching it just in case for you guys. So tornado warning does continue. This is going to be again from Marion County as well as the county of Fayette. I keep forgetting that's second county, so Fayette. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I know people can get confused with this, but this is a separate account. You'll see me on both accounts, Michigan and this account, but this is going to be for Illinois. This is a regional account, not a state account. We are streaming, though, to Illinois Storm Network. So those of you watching, I see there's 10 of you guys watching from that account. Welcome to the stream. This is going to be the first stream you guys are probably seeing on the account here. So we go live every time that we can, that there is severe weather happening in the state of Illinois, but also the 5 surrounding states of the Great Lakes. So Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin. So this is a tornado warning in effect here for Marion and Fayette counties. It goes for another 30 minutes. Rotation is not overly tight, but we are seeing some indication that the storm is trying to tighten up into what could be a tornado. We've already seen a few tornadoes out in Iowa a little bit earlier this afternoon. They had similar radar pictures to this one, so I believe what you're seeing here is just the NWS being cautious, which is completely validated. We could definitely see something here spin up. We're watching it closely, although it doesn't indicate it's too tight. The radar beam is also off the ground here by 7,000 feet, so anything under 7,000 feet right now is not being seen by this radar. But so far, we are not seeing anything that is showing up on our debris tracker. It's just some tighter rotation here that bears watching as it crosses Highway 51 heading toward Wilburton. So if you are in Wilburton, Laclede, Edgewood, anything else in here? I don't see anything else. St. James, Confidence, Lugoti, St. Peter. You guys should be in your safe place now. That is a basement into your closet or the most innermost part of your house. Like anything away from, put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. An interior room, preferably with no windows, but if you do have windows, grab a blanket, cover yourself with that blanket in case the glass breaks and flies at you. You'll have that protection from a blanket or even like a mattress or something to protect you if you have to find shelter in a place with glass. So this rotation is, it's definitely not weak, but it's also not very strong at all. It's definitely something that does warrant the warning here, which is why we're seeing them issued. But we'd like to see a little bit tighter there for a little bit more of a tornadic look. Looking around the other parts of the region, up toward the Illinois area, no, nothing up there. We do have a few storms down to the south here in Kentucky and Tennessee, although that looks to be missing Illinois here. They may try to push north into southern Indiana here during the evening, but overall this should remain in Kentucky and Tennessee tonight. So it looks like the only areas of interest right now are going to be these 2 storms up here in south central near Salem. Although we do have a storm down here that I see has popped up here in very far southern Illinois. Let's go and take a peek at the velocity on that one. And nothing to be concerned about there just yet, but bears watching here. That'll be moving into probably the Evansville area over the next couple of hours. So we'll watch that here. This is actually a pretty good look here on radar here. We see a good little bow echo. We call it a bow echo, like a bow and arrow. The apex of the bow has the strongest winds here. And then on the backside, this wind can curl back in on itself. And that's what we're seeing, the rotation. If you look at our velocity here, where this is curling back in on itself, that's where the rotation is. Go ahead and flip that over here. And there you have it. So that is going to be quite interesting. This might actually try to tighten up here a little bit further. So getting more so concerned about the structure, how it looks right now. So if you're in Wilburton, we'll go ahead and say Brownstown, in between Brownstown and Wilburton, Highway 185 here, up toward Highway 57 between Watson, St. Elmo, Edgewood, Laclede, and any place in between here. I see Gilmore, St. James, Lugoti, Confidence. You guys are all in the path of this storm. I just got a new, I'm not sure what's going on. I got the warning. I'm not sure what they did, but I had a new alert that popped in. Did they update this? I'm not sure. I'll wait for it to pop in here, but I just got the new alert on Radar Omega here. So we'll wait for it to pop in. I'm not sure if they extended it or if they discontinued it. I'm not sure, but we will give you that information as we get that. So, Jordan, this is Illinois. This is nowhere near Michigan. So this is going to be directly basically hitting Wilburton here in the next couple of minutes, if not already. The new warning is a severe warning here to the further south, which has just popped in on my phone here. So the alert, if you guys can hear that alert, I'm not sure you can or not. Let me go ahead and try something real quick. Let me go ahead and try to share the audio on this. Let's try that. Perfect. So you guys should be able to hear the audio as a new warning gets issued now. So if you guys hear like a siren, let me know. I'll let you know when I hear it, and I'll see if you guys can hear it as well. But new warning now is for this is going to be South Central Illinois, Don. South Central Illinois. This is going to be for the counties of Clinton, Marion, and Washington until 6:15 p.m. Central Time. And this is going to be for 1 inch hail as well as 60-mile-per-hour wind. So the entire line here is now warned for at least wind and potentially large hail as well. And this one up here has potential for a tornado moving towards the Wilburton area. Although the last scan here has broadened back out, which is great news. Let's go ahead and check our CC product again. So CC is a debris product that basically just tells us if there could be debris being lofted into the atmosphere. We'd see like a little ball of yellow or blue in here, like a little circle of it, but I don't see anything on radar. So that's great news for right now, but the rotation does continue. These storms like what we call cycle. They go through about 5-10 minute phases, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, where they're going to try and weaken, then they'll try to develop again. We call it cycling. So this could easily cycle through and come back with rotation that's stronger here. So be watching that area. So the area of rotation is right here where this bright green is meeting the bright red, or the bright green is meeting a little bit of an off color red there. Looks like they just continued that again. They trimmed it back. NWS on their game today. Good to see that. So they're watching the storm very closely. That's going to still go until 6 p.m. Central Time. This is going to be for the counties of Fayette and Marion. Northeastern Marion and southeastern Fayette counties. So in these storms down here, there's a little bit of rotation down here just north of Sandoval. This is South Central Illinois, Mary. South Central Illinois. This is a regional account. So we're covering 5 states in the Great Lakes here on this account, not just one particular state. But the threat currently, and the only threat really today, is in South Central Illinois. So as I was saying here, there's an area of secondary rotation down here. It's not very strong, but it does bear watching. It's in a good environment to rotate with these. Further north has more interest for me personally, just because we go ahead and animate this. You'll see the rotation was pretty tight there for a little bit there. No, Michigan is not in the threat there, Dawn. This is going to stay in South Central Illinois and perhaps as far east as Southwest Indiana. But no, Michigan just has some general rain for right now up there for you guys. So 2 areas here we're watching, but the one up here in the red box has the most attention, but there is some attention down here as we see that try to rotate as well, just not as strongly as that northern storm. That does continue to weaken though, although this one now has my eye down here. So go ahead and take a peek at radar on that one. That may be trying to a little bit of a hook there. It's hard to tell. It's being so far away from the radar, but we could have a third area of rotation taking shape down here just south of Carlisle. We're going to keep an eye on that very closely. I'm actually going to turn my other radar over here directly down to that storm to keep an eye on that, just to make sure we're keeping eyes on all storms here. So we're tracking these as they move to the east here. Let's go ahead and take a 2-panel look at this, see if this works for you guys. Perfect. So on the left is your typical radar, just your rain. On the right side of your screen is your velocity of the winds. Greens are going towards and reds are going away, if I'm not mistaken. Looking around the region, for those of you who are out of state watching us across the region, let's go ahead and take back a one panel look here. So across Illinois, just some scattered showers, except if you're in South Central, you have a couple warnings here in effect for both severe and tornadic. Indiana is much of the same. There's no severe threat currently in Indiana, except if you're towards the Evansville area and far southwest Indiana. If you're up here in Ohio, you guys are basically just getting some scattered rain showers later on tonight. Nothing severe for you guys. Up here in Michigan, again, just some scattered rain moving into southwest here. Maybe rumble of thunder with those. No severe threat up there in Michigan. Same thing goes for Wisconsin, although Wisconsin's just clearing the rain out and passing that off onto Lake Michigan for the state of Michigan here. So outside of Illinois, there currently is no severe threat, just some scattered rain showers, maybe rumble of thunder. Nothing to be concerned about. The reason we're going live here is because of a tornado warning in Illinois, and we have a page. The page we're streaming to right here covers all 5 Great Lakes states. So that's why you're seeing me go live here. Appreciate you, Chris. See what you're doing there in the comments. Appreciate you keeping that word out and trying to keep that fresh in people's minds here. But I know a lot of our following here comes from the Michigan Storm Chaser page. So I understand people's confusion, but this is not Michigan Storm Chasers. This is Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network. Rotation continues to look pretty weak. Although I've said it before, I'll say it again. We had a couple tornadoes out in Iowa earlier today that looked very similar on the velocity to this storm. So the reason you're probably seeing this warned is just because it's not so much tight, but because it is rotating in a way where we could see a spin up happen underneath the radar today, because the radar beam is shooting 7,000 feet in the atmosphere. So anything below that radar beam of 7,000 feet at this location, we're not going to see that. So this could very well have touchdown at some point, although it doesn't look likely at this point. It's definitely a possibility. We may have seen something touch down here. Latest scan here does broaden this back out, which is great news. But looking on the left side of your screen here, this is what we kind of call a bookend vortex feature, where it tries to curl back in on itself, which is kind of like a backward C shape, like a bow. So back in here is where you're seeing the rotation, which is lining up pretty well over here. So the storm does have a good structure to it on radar, and does have some rotation with this. So severe warning does continue. So we have just three severe warnings in effect for these storms across southern Illinois. The tornado warning is going to be for, it's radar indicated, not confirmed. It's just radar indicated rotation. It's going to be for Marion and Fayette counties. The warning below that is going to be for the counties of Clinton and Marion. That's going to be a tornado possible tag on that. And then the one to the south of that is going to be for Clinton, Marion, and Washington counties. And that's going to go until 6:15 Central. And that's also going to be just for wind and hail. So the middle one up here, this middle warning, this one right here, has a tag for a tornado possible. And we're seeing some indication here of some very weak rotation along this line of storms here. So it does warrant that Tor possible tag for sure, but nothing imminent that we see. The strongest rotation was up here, although it's honestly still is the strongest that we're seeing right now. But even that has since weakened. So we saw it decently tight back here just south of Vandalia, and that pushed off to the northeast, and then that also weakened as it did. We have a storm chaser here, Reith Branson, still on that storm. I don't know him. I don't know if he has a Twitter or if he's streaming anywhere. I don't know any of that information, but be curious to see if he reports anything. He is right up on that storm, so we'll watch for any reports that come in. Do I have storm reports? Here we go. Let's turn this. Okay, they're on. Cool. So if anything gets reported to Spotter Network, which is a system that allows storm chasers use to report severe weather, it'll pop up on my screen here. So Is Ramsey out of the woods yet? All right, there's a Ramsey, Indiana, and a Ramsey, Illinois. If you're talking about Illinois, I'm going to assume you're going to be north of this, if I'm not mistaken. You're up here somewhere. I know you are. But yes, I believe you are out of the risk. There you are. Yeah, you're out of the risk there. Yep, Chris, you're good. Ramsey is right here. Go ahead and take a one panel look back. Ramsey is right here. The storms are past you. So yes, you are clear. And you should be clear for the night as well. I don't see anything I don't see anything happening behind this line, so you should be clear. Thank you, Chris. Have to forgive me. I'm from Michigan, so I am not quite familiar yet with Illinois, Wisconsin. I'm pretty familiar with Indiana, Ohio, but I'm still learning Illinois here. So bear with me if you guys have questions about your specific locations. Even county names, I'm going to be kind of confused. If you can kind of point me in like a bigger city like Effingham or Springfield or St. Louis, bigger cities that you're kind of near, that would help a lot. But otherwise, I'll just Google it here. I got Google Maps pulled up on my side here. I'll just Google it real quick and help you out. But I'll learn eventually. It's just one of the hardest things, covering 5 states, learning, 3 new states. So, no problem, Chris. Steve, Northern Illinois currently is not in this threat. This is going to stay pretty much south of I-70. So if you're north of 70 up towards Peoria, Chicago, Rockford, you guys are just clearing out of your storms earlier this morning into the afternoon. No threat up there for you. Let's go ahead and take a peek back there. Looks like that storm is weakening here. Looks like that bookend vortex feature was weakening, which is great news. Go ahead and take a 2-panel look back here and take a look at this. Yeah, it looks, although this storm did a classic pass off. I didn't even realize this. So what this storm did is it cycled through, and we're going to see the old area of rotation, which was up here, has now shifted to the south. This is actually quite common with these storms. I just completely missed that. But now our focus is going to be right here by Comundi. So they may issue a new warning here for this county over here near Louisville, Flora. I'm not sure what the county name is. Do I have it over here? Marion. Nope, that's not it. What is this? What is this county? Clay County. Would not be shocked if they get extended off into Clay County here. This is a very classic pass off to the south where that old rotation weakens to the north, and then new rotation picks up to the south. Very classic of these storms to do that. I didn't notice until now. So Comundi, let's go ahead and get you guys aware of this. This is now basically out of the warning box here. Areas in the path of this are Laclede, Oskaloosa, Louisville, Bible Grove, anywhere between those areas up toward Edgewood as well. You guys would be in the path of this new rotation. I would expect them, if that continues to strengthen here, would be issuing that a new warning here momentarily for Clay County, as well as northeastern Marion County as well. Would not be shocked if that warning actually got extended off into Effingham County too. But overall, that's a new area of rotation we have to watch very closely here. And you can actually see on the radar here, you can see a little bit of a hook here. So this is pretty classic. Not tight in terms of rotation just yet, but it does bear watching. When you see these greens and reds meet like this down here, be pretty weak rotation, but still rotation nonetheless. But this one up here just definitely catches the eye more so. So we'll be watching that. It's going to be just about basically over Comundi right now on the north side of town. So not a good look there, but I don't think anything's going to be on the ground with that just yet, although I have to wait for the new scan. This scan is, okay, this is a live scan. Okay, this is a fresh scan just happened. Let's go ahead and back this up just a bit. Okay. What if those highways have cameras? That is a great question, Chris. I do not have the ability right now to pull that up. I have my, what is this, Highway 57 there by Comundi. Let me go ahead and Google that really quickly. We may have a good shot. So what Chris is asking is sometimes highways will have traffic cameras we can pull up and get a live view of storms. We do it quite often here in the state of Michigan, where Chris and I are both from. So Be curious if they have any traffic cams we can hop on and get a good look at the storm here and see what it's doing. So give me 1 second here to pull this up behind the scenes. I don't see any. Highway 650. This is Highway 57. Nope, I don't see anything there, Chris. Unfortunately, I don't know if you want to Google it yourself. I pulled up IDOT. I could not find any. Sarah is watching from Kimundi, Illinois. So, Sarah, there is an area of rotation. So, surprised. I did not expect anybody to watch this from the actual areas affected. So that's great that we're seeing this. But Kimundi proper is just on the south side of this rotation. If you're on the north side of Kimundi, you should be in your basement. This is rotation that has picked up here over the past 5-10 minutes. It doesn't really look too tight, but it definitely bears watching. The radar beam at this location is 7,000 feet above the ground. So this could very well have something on the ground, just not being able to see it here on radar. Although it doesn't look likely that's the case, it is a possibility. Would have some pretty good hail with these storms as well. And also some good winds with this storm as well. So your warning of the tornado is just going to be radar indicated rotation. That's the only hazard mentioned, but with this storm, there does appear to be a good sized hail core with this. I'm getting reports here on radar of just over an inch hail, so definitely could be seeing a little bit of hail with this storm that could be severe in nature. I got radars pulled up all around me here, so I'm looking off screen. It's just looking at different radar here. So new scan is going to weaken the rotation here, just updated here on Radar Omega. This is going to be passing about 1 mile north of the Kimundi, where it says Kimundi here in the map. So this area right here, basically right over Highway 57, just to the west of 57, about to cross it. So we're going to be watching that area very closely here. Also watching the area here to the south here as this one tries to weaken. It'll pass off to the south to this area here, which is probably what's going to happen here in the next 15 minutes, honestly. The area that was originally warned was up here by St. Elmo. That's completely gone now. Sarah says pea-size hail in Kimundi. Okay. You're just you must be pretty much on the west side of Kimundi there. The storm is just entering Kimundi proper. So do I have VIL? I think I do have VIL on this. I do. Yeah, there's your hail core. So this is as of 6 minutes ago. These brighter colors on the right side of your screen here is indicating water droplets or hail that's larger than normal size. So it's a pretty good signature there that we're getting some good sized hail. Looks to miss Kimundi just to the north here. But yeah, if you're in Kimundi, you're on the south side of that good sized hail core. So you're probably getting peas there, like you said there, Sarah. That lines up pretty well. If you're north of Kimundi, though, you're probably getting close to quarter size hail, which is the threshold for severe weather. Rotation on that is looking a little bit more scattered in nature. Let's go ahead and take a look at CC here. No, Tanya, Michigan is not a threat today. Yeah, even the CC here is indicating some good size hail. So I hope that Wreath guy is chasing. He's in the hail core, just about to get in the hail core. So I wonder if he's going to get a windshield crack. Don't want to say that, but with this signature here on radar, wouldn't be shocked. Take a peek back at our velocity to look at the rotation here. So what we had before, I'm going to go ahead and take a full panel look here and show you guys what happened or what usually happens with these storms. If I back this up, you're going to see the old area of rotation off to the north here. And then the new area takes over down here by Kimundi. What's probably going to end up happening is this area by Kimundi is eventually going to weaken. It's going to pass off to this area down here to the south of that, Go ahead and pause it right there. So you see there's a couple areas of rotation we were watching. There's one up here. There's one currently, which is the main one right here. But if that weakens off to the north along 57 here, this area down here would be the one to strengthen. So we'll be watching that area just north of Salem there, moving up toward the Omega area between Comanche and Omega closely. Then this one back here, take a look at our velocity back here. Good wind velocity, not much in the way of rotation that I'm seeing, although that could easily change. That's a shame, Chris. I was hoping there, but I Googled it real quick. Didn't come up with anything. Usually, if there's cameras around, they usually pop up, first thing when you Google it. But I didn't see anything pop in, so I don't want to spend too much time looking at that. But thanks for trying, though. Plug in my phone here before it dies. There we go. So again, tornado warning remains in effect, although the storm that prompted the warning has originally weakened, and the new area of rotation does look pretty weak at this point. It's just riding the very southern flank of that warning here. That is a warning for south central Illinois and for the counties of Marion and Fayette counties. And there's also severe warnings to the south of that. This one has a tornado possible tag. The area of interest can be near Sandoval. New area of interest here would be just to the west of Sandoval, right here. I'm going to assume it's going to be a bookend vortex feature here on radar. Kind of. So look at this purple in here. Kind of looks like a bow here, and it kind of curls back in on itself right here. That's where we're seeing the rotation, and that would be an indication of a little bit of a bookend vortex feature going on there near Sandoval. So we'll have to watch that one down there closely as well. So this whole entire line bears watching along the extent of it from basically Edgewood down to Nashville, Illinois. So the area that we are watching, it looks to be pretty weak in terms of rotation for right now. Have not seen anything on the debris products to indicate anything did touch down, although we did see a couple tornadoes earlier in the day in Iowa that had similar radar features. They're just low top type of, tornadoes here that don't always get picked up by radar. Radar is not perfect, which is why you probably have these warnings being issued here. Even though the rotation doesn't look too tight, it is still a good ways off the ground here, 7,000 plus feet off the ground. So anything underneath that 7,000 number is not being seen by radar. So seeing a good lightning increase here just near Farina, north of Comanche. So Comanche, you currently are in the clear from that area of rotation. I don't think this one to the south would be anything to worry about at this point, although it could cycle, although it should cycle off to your east after it passes you if it does. Yeah, this area looks to be trying to get going here again. And then in the latest scan, I have the 54 scan. Okay, I'm present. Cool. So there's your area of interest, just basically riding that southern flank of that warning here. So Laclede, Edgewood, Bible Grove, places between there, Lola, Cruz, Horde, Rifle, or is that Riffle? You guys are going to be in the path of this storm. This is going to be south central Illinois. This is going to be Clay County, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, northern Clay County. And also wouldn't be on alert there if you're also in southern Effingham counties. There's no warning currently for you, but one could very well get extended off into those areas. In fact, you guys should be able to hear that. Let me know if you guys hear that or not. But basically what just happened is a new warning. It's not tornadic, but it is severe. Just got issued for those areas I just was talking about. Southern Effingham County and northern Clay counties. The warning says 60 mile per hour winds, 1-inch hail, and a tornado is also possible. That's going to go until, I believe, 7 p.m. or 7:40 or 6:45 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's going to be for northwestern Clay and southeastern Effingham until 6:45. Did you guys hear that? Okay, good, cool. So I'll leave that on for you guys to hear that. So anytime you hear that alert, basically a new warning is being issued somewhere. It's not going to be always, I don't think, for Illinois. I'm not sure if this is set to the radar area or if it's the whole U.S., but anytime a new warning gets issued, you're going to hear that alert. So again, the area of interest that we're watching has since kind of, it's not really organized anymore at all, I'd say. Still bears watching just to the north of Comundi, south of Laclede, but it was tighter about a half hour ago or so. We're heading off into what road is this? Lola Lane is what this road is, just north of Cruz here. Riffle being in the path there. So if you live along Lola Lane, that's going to be basically the path of this storm here. Go ahead and zoom out here, reposition, and take a little bit of a path here on this, about 45 miles per hour. So areas of impact here be Cruz in about 8 minutes, Lola itself in 11, Riffle in 16, Horde in 20, Hill in 22, Bible Grove in 25, Winter Route in 32. We'll just leave it at that. We don't want to get too far downstream of that. Just, it's not, on the ground or anything like that. So we want to give it some time here to kind of progress and cycle through here before we start naming out names that far in advance. But overall, good looking storm. On radar, although rotation has weakened, so no imminent threat, I'm going to say, with that, at least for right now, although these storms can change very quickly. We'll be on here as long as we have to. The tornado warning just got dropped on this, so that's great news, although this whole entire line does have areas of interest along it. I think the new area of interest is going to be south of Comundi here. It just hasn't developed just yet. I'm thinking down here somewhere is going to develop a little bit of something. So we'll be watching that close. We're going to stay on here a little bit longer. There is still severe warnings in effect here for Clay, Effingham, as well as Clinton and Marion counties. And also further south here, we also have counties of Clinton, Marion, and Washington until 6:15. So all along this line here, we do have some potential for a tornado, although that potential is looking to be on the lower side today, although it is potential nonetheless. It's not going to be something to be overly concerned about. We're not going to have, a outbreak or anything like that, but, it could have one or two along the life of this line here, whether it's, now or, about an hour from now, just bears watching as this line progresses eastward toward the state of Indiana. So I'll be on here. We'll wait a few more minutes at the very least here. We are getting, what did I just say? Just south of Comundi there. Looks to be trying to increase on rotation just a bit. Effingham, Illinois, Brenda, you should be clear. You're up here. You look to be clear for right now, although I'm not going to give you the all clear just yet, but these storms should be tracking off to your south and should miss you. So if you're in Effingham there, you're sitting pretty good right now, but just don't let your guard down just yet. So area that I'm more interested in now is going to be here just south and a little bit east of Comundi. I've been saying this for the past 15 minutes. This is probably going to cycle south, and it absolutely has. So new area of interest here, just south of Comundi. Going to be crossing that Lola Lane area. Again, I'm going to assume this is going to be, nope, this is Kinlow Road. Where does it turn into Lola Lane? Where's Lola Lane at? Oh, it's up here. Okay, I got you now. So this road right here is going to be Kinlow Road, and this is going to cross pretty close here to, what roads are these? There's Kinlow. What is this road? Give me a road name. Come on. It's so rural out here. This is going to be O'Leary Road. So that's going to be right about where the area of rotation is for right now. And this is actually decently trying to tighten there. Is that clear air or is that trying? Let me go ahead and take a peek here on my back end radar. Nope, that is not clear air. So this area right here is the tightest. The area of interest is going to be basically over. We should pop these road names on here. Armstrong, Sullivan Road there, moving east-northeast, just south of Kinlow Road here, about to cross Loy Road and Wilson Road here, if not over that area right now. You're going to be moving off to the Cruz and Oskaloosa area. I'll go ahead and say Oskaloosa. I realized my microphone was muted there for some reason. But what I was saying here was I really hope that those people in the path of these storms are taking shelter, although nothing does look overly concerning at this point. There is indication of rotation here just to the east now of Comundi. This is going to be south central Illinois. There's currently no warning on that particular area of interest. They're probably waiting another scan or two to see if it stays tight or if they're going to let it kind of broaden back out and go through its phases here. Um, it's not overly strong rotation that I would say needs to be warned immediately. But when you see reds and greens like that meet so close together, that's definitely more so concerning. We also have the area of interest up here still that does look to be still weak, although it does bear watching here. So two areas really back to back rotation. We'll go ahead and circle the entire area here for right now. We'll go ahead and take a look at CC actually before I do that. Look at this. This is what the 704 scan. There we go. So nothing on the ground on this at this time that's showing up on our radar debris product, but this does bear watching. Go ahead and circle that. We're going to arrow this off here. Wouldn't be shocked if they. I don't know if they're going to include this county down here in that warning or not. Um, that would be central and southern clay. I'm not sure they're going to do that or not. But I think the warning they have in effect is pretty well handled. Louisville in Clay County there is going to have probably going to mark that southernmost part of that storm here. So I'm just going to keep it on this look here. Circle this area, circle that area. We're waiting for the new scan to pop in. These are moving about east at around 45 miles per hour. Currently warned for severe, 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail, although there is areas of rotation that could drop a tornado, which is why this warning has a possible tornado tag on it. So one thing, you guys, if you guys did not know, there is tornado warnings, obviously, but there's also levels of severe warnings. There's just a normal, regular, severe warning. There's considerable, there's destructive, and sometimes these warnings will have a tag at the very bottom of it where they'll say tornado possible. It's for storms like these that don't look too tight on radar, but they are rotating. They are rotating nonetheless. So when that happens, they'll put a tag saying, "Hey, we're watching the storm. It's rotating. It's just not tight enough to warrant, a warning for a tornado at this point, but it's a possibility," which is this warning right here. It's a possibility, but it's not, it's not on the ground or, looking like it's going to be on the ground imminent. New scan there looks to be weakening off just a bit. This area up here to the north does look to be trying to stay organized too. So you can see the hook on radar. Let's take a peek down here further south. Don't want to forget about these warnings that are in effect. Not seeing much anything on velocity for rotation wise, but it does have some gusty winds for sure. Got a new warning popping in here. Let's wait for it to pop in. Again, not sure if that's for the entire US or if it's just for what I'm viewing at here. We'll wait for a few seconds here and see if anything pops in. I don't see anything, honestly. It'll pop on my phone here once it does get issued, so I'll see what it is. Wait for it here. So that Reeve Branson chaser out there is still on these storms. So he must be knowing what he's doing, must be actively chasing. So I'm sure he is probably communicating with NWS. If there's anything on the ground, it'll likely be reported by this guy. That warning was only for Tennessee. So that is an alert for Tennessee, not for Illinois. But I'm sure this Reef guy would be communicating with NWS if there's anything like damage or anything on the ground. So he'd probably tell them. He's right up in this rotational area, which is great news. We're not getting anything reported, but the warning does remain in effect here, and the rotation is broad, but it does look to be trying to cycle through here. So those of you just joining us, this is South Central Illinois. In particular, the area of interest here is Clay County, as well as Effingham County there. I'm going to refill my water here if you guys don't mind. But there are warnings down here for Marion County as well. Let's go ahead and take a peek back here. This is going to expire in 6 minutes for Clinton and Marion counties. And also we have another warning down here. It also expires in 6 minutes. This is going to be for Clinton, Marion, and Washington counties. So those warnings will either expire here very shortly or they'll get extended off to further to the east. If they do get extended further east, the counties involved would be Clay County again, as well as Wayne County, and perhaps may include Jefferson County as well. But we'll have to wait to see what they do with those. Wouldn't be shocked if they went ahead and extended those, but as of right now, it looks to be pretty much over a rural area, which is great news. Not much population out here. But this area of interest is not dying. Usually it dies when it occludes to the north, but this one does not want to. Let's take a peek back here at our CC product here. Not seeing anything. Storms are trying to rotate, and they are successfully rotating, but they're not successfully making tornadoes, which is great news. The atmosphere does have a lot of wind shear today, but there's not a lot of moisture for these storms to tap into. So they are being held back by the atmosphere, but they're still going to try. I'm going to go ahead and redo this. So the area of rotation would be basically just over Cruz and the Lola areas. This is going to be 2 minutes old, so crossing Lola Lane pretty much immediately right now, if not already crossed Lola off to the northeast. I'm going to probably guess be right around here in this area, wherever this one is. This is going to be Elder Road and Edgewood Road, just north of Lola, where this rotation is probably going to be at momentarily, if not already on top of. I'm going to look at something real quick on the back end of things here. These radars are really good for I got 3 radars rolling here, and they're each good in their own particular way. But the one I'm using right now does not give me storm relative velocity very well. And that's honestly what we should be using here. Let's go ahead and flip over to radar scope here. There we go. So this is radar scope, different radar product here, but it also gives us some more options to look at, like rotation and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and zoom back in here on a different look. You'll see the area of rotation just a bit better here. This particular area is not very tight at all, but that's your area of interest. But you can see on this radar, it doesn't look as impressive as the other radar. And this one, we're going to stick with this one just for a bit here to monitor. Let's go ahead and animate this back to see what it looked like. Yeah, right there by Kimundi did look to be pretty, not concerning, but a little bit tighter than what we've been seeing there. Now the area here near Lola looks to be trying to do something here again. We see a little bit of a brighter red velocity there. That could indicate either straight line winds, but also could indicate something like a tornado being possible with this as well. If you take a look back here at our regular velocity, what does that look like? Yeah, that's exactly what's going on there. So this is trying to tighten back up here just to the west and a little bit north of Lola. So moving pretty slowly off about 35 at this point. I'd say probably 30 to 35 miles per hour at this point. It's not moving very fast. Yeah, moving at 35 miles an hour. So I was thinking it was moving closer to 55, 45 to 50, but it is not. So we're going to leave this up in the background here. Take back Radar Omega and take a peek at that storm. We're just going to leave it right here. We're going to circle this. We're going to actually, we're going to track this. Just put a track on the screen there. Moving east and a bit north here. Let's go ahead and pause this and get a track on this right about here at about 35 miles per hour. We're going to leave that on the screen there. So Lola in 5 minutes, Horde in 16, Bible Grove in 20, Winter Road in 30. Take a 4 panel on that. Perfect. New update is just loading in for me on back end on other radar product here. Waiting for that new velocity scan to get an idea. It is taking a sweet old time to move, which is honestly good news. Okay, a little bit tighter there. Area of interest is directly over, what road is this? Edgewood and Swift Lane. That's going to be the area of interest there, just to the north and a bit west of Lola. Moving east-northeast here, so about to cross, what road is this? Mockingbird Road. Looking at a couple roads down the road here. Looking at Raven Road here as well. Off to the Bible Grove Horde area here, just north of Lola Lane. So this rotation is going to be staying just north of that main highway here, which is great news. Probably where the most population is. But this is going to be traveling basically right for the rural areas here of Horde and Bible Grove. In fact, we can do a population track of this. Total population says 0. I don't know if I believe that or not. All right, new warning just popped in. Not sure where. If it's going to be for this area here, if it's going to be out of state, or if it's going to be for these storms further south. We'll go ahead and take a zoom out here and just kind of wait for a warning to pop in here if anything does get pop in. Oh, I don't see anything that is, which is good news for now, but we'll wait for it to pop in. If it's not for this area, it'll pop in on my phone automatically through Twitter, so I'll know where it got issued for. It's just about 30 seconds delayed here, so the area of interest here is just to the northwest of Lola. Rotation is quite weak, but it is also touching pretty well here. So it is trying to do something at least. We'll see if it can manage to do something here or if it weakens back out. It is for, it's a new warning now, got extended for the exact same counties. For Clinton, Marion, and Washington County, that goes now until 7 p.m. Central Time. That's going to be for 1-inch hail as well as 60-mile-per-hour winds. So the storms are moving a little bit slower than what they thought, which is why they're extending that warning. Did expire at 6:15. Yeah, 6:15. So they're extending that now because of the slower moving nature of these storms. They're expecting these to move out of the warning area by now, and they're not. So just going to continue that warning for the same areas now. Rotation does look to be broadening back out, which is great news. Still nothing that we're seeing on debris product here. Now, if there was a tornado on the ground on this product here, we'd see a ball show up here where the rotation meets of like a blue or yellowish type of color. It'd be like a little cylinder or a little oval shape. So we're seeing nothing show up here, which is absolutely great news. But these storms do carry a potential for all hazards through the evening. The main hazard is damaging winds. Secondary threat would be hail. And the third threat would be a tornado or two possible. New area of rotation, perhaps trying to form back further south. Yeah, actually, it's been there for a while, so same area we've been watching. Just doesn't want to die out yet. But this area, I'm noticing now, if you notice, there's an increase now of lightning strikes that just popped in right there. So those lightning strikes are going to mean either one of two things. Either one, this is going to be strengthening and maybe trying to put down a tornado, or number two, the updraft is collapsing on itself, which would either mean the storm is dying or trying to cycle again. So we'll have to wait and see if that is going to happen. When we get lightning barrages all at once that we're seeing now, we see three strikes out of nowhere there. It's going to be either dying or it's either going to be strengthening. Is chat still working? Having a new comment here in about 20 minutes. Somebody comment for me. Make sure this is working for me. Is my comment section broken here? Okay, thank you, Tasha. I was getting concerned there for a brief second. All right, thank you, Alan. I was a little bit concerned there. Okay. What's up, Michael? Got some new development out here further toward the east towards the Vincent, Indiana area. Although this doesn't look to be overly concerning yet, but these storms would carry a low potential for severe weather into southwest Indiana here as well. Got some storms heading into the Evansville area from Uniontown, Kentucky. That does not carry any rotation with it or doesn't look to be strong or windy at all. So we're watching these storms as it moves into the area here over the next couple hours. Main concern still up here with these storms just south of Effingham, Illinois. No problem. This is what I love to do. So we'll be live. I'll be live here anytime there's severe weather in the region. We'll probably hold off on just regular severe warnings, but when stuff is tornadic like this, or there's a severe warning that's really considerable or destructive, we'll be on here. Another lightning strike popped in here just in the mesocyclone area of the core, which is probably an indication it's trying to strengthen, honestly. Let's look at ZDR on this. So ZDR, do I have ZDR? There it is. So ZDR is a basically X-ray of the updraft. So these brighter oranges, pink sometimes would indicate that the updraft is strong, and when they start to go to the blues, greens, gray color, that's a weakening updraft or just not a very strong updraft at all. So we see the updraft was quite strong here, and now we're seeing it try to weaken here, but it wouldn't be a trend that I'm more so concerned about just yet. But I do want to take note that the updraft down here by Louisville is strengthening here, so we'll have to watch that area further to the south. Yeah, and there's your rotation where that ZDR is also strengthening. So watching those two areas here. This one's trending weaker. This one's trending stronger. So it might be trying to pass off to the south, but also the weakening trend is not significant enough that I'd be more so concerned about it just yet. So we'll be watching both these areas here. Now, this area back here, where these brighter greens are, that's where some gusty winds could be all along this entire line here. Hey, do a smiley face. Give him a nose here while I'm at it. Excuse me. But if we look at the radar on this, it's just one big line. So there's nothing really. I'll be honestly watching this storm down here a little closer. We call it tail end Charlie, where there's nothing below the storm, so inflow is going straight into it. Like storms up here, for example, will be battling this storm down here for inflow to it, whereas you have a storm down the further south side of the line. There's nothing stopping inflow to the storm, so it has nothing stopping it. So watch that southern storm closely here. Next couple of scans to just kind of monitor that. How many of you guys are going to be looking at the eclipse tomorrow or traveling for it? Should have pretty good weather for it across Illinois, Indiana, West Ohio, and South Michigan. So, kind of curious. I'll be heading out to Ohio myself. I'm from Michigan. Excited for it. Pop it back over here to our velocity. Watching basically the entire line closely here. Down here, it's catching my eye more so now than it was a couple minutes ago. But the main area of concern is going to be up here still along this line. In particular, this one right here, but also down here catches my eye here as well. So Louisville, Bible Grove areas along Highway 45. You guys will be on deck for this. Nothing that indicates tornado imminent or anything on the ground, nothing like that. But it does look like the storm is rotating. It is rotating on radar here. Luckily, we're not seeing anything that has caused damage at this point in time. We have no confirmation on that. There is a couple storm chasers in the area who are chasing this, so I'm assuming that if anything happened, they'd be in communication with the weather service that covers this area. I have not got any word on anything here. What's up, Drew? Thanks for joining. What's up, Michael? Thanks for subscribing, guys. Yeah, if you guys are not subscribed to the YouTube page, we are live on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. If you're watching from the Illinois Storm Network page, our YouTube page, and our Facebook page that hosts everything is called Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network. And within the network, we have the individual state accounts. So depending on where you live at, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, we have state accounts dedicated for you. So feel free to give us a follow and give the other states a follow if you guys want. But otherwise, we cover the 5 Great Lakes states areas. We have individual accounts for each. Alan says, we watched an eclipse from home. You're in a good spot for it, Alan. Outside Chicago, says Michael. Awesome. Area of interest with rotation does look to be quite weak at this point, which is great news. But we're watching the entire line here as it moves off to the east here. We'll stay on here a little bit longer. I gotta go live here at 8 o'clock on our Michigan account for our weekly live stream, so I'll hop off here at that point. But for right now, I'll stay on here. If anything severe is happening after that stream, I'll hop back on and give you guys the update. But for right now, everything's looks to remain pretty subtle. Although the possibility is still there for severe weather through the evening. At this point, though, it doesn't look to be overly concerning of what's on the radar right now. There we go. Keep it a wide shot like that for now. Watching from Michigan, says Sherry. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and recap here. So we have a couple severe warnings in effect. Go ahead and take it back a one panel look so it's not so confusing. So one warning here is tagged for a tornado possible. That's going to include the counties of Clay and Effingham counties. That goes until 6:45 p.m. Also hazard there for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Then a large warning down here for just hail and wind. There's no possible tornado tag on this southern warning. This is going to be for Clinton County as well as Marion and Washington counties. Again, that's going to go until 7 p.m. Central Time. These storms are moving pretty slowly, about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Although these are catching my eye over here towards Lawrenceville. Nothing indicating they're strong just yet, but they got that look of a supercell to them. So I have to watch these for some severe weather later on. So if you're like in the Vincent's area, Bicknell and Indiana here, Sullivan, Linton, I think south of Sullivan's fine here towards Vincent's. I think you should be more so concerned for these individual cells here. Low chance for some severe weather, but definitely non-zero. Taking a little bit wider shot here, we got some storms far south Illinois by the Ohio River that's popped up here. These don't look to be anything to note or to write home about just yet. Evansville has a storm heading into the southern part of the area. Not seeing anything concerning with that as well. So really the only area of concern is still up here on this line in south central Illinois. It's getting a little bit dark at my house. Get this light going. There we go. Let's put it in. Put it in purple. I want purple tonight. There we go. Well, well, well. Area of interest now down here by Salem and Luca, just south of Highway 50, east of 57. Again, not looking like it's overly tight, but it does bear watching there very closely. This area up here is trying to tighten back up here as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a 2-panel on this radar. So I have radars going on behind the scenes here you guys can't see, but actually I should be able to bring that in. Give me 1 second. I should be able to simultaneously switch these back and forth. So let me go ahead and log back in here on my other computer. There we go. Perfect. Ooh, we're going to mute that. We're going to mute myself. I don't want to hear myself echo. And now we're going to present this screen perfecto. So now I can just go ahead with a touch of a button and flip screens perfect. That is what I want to see. All right, so northern area of interest is going to be just to the west of Bible Grove, to the south of Horde, just about to cross Highway 54 here. Not tight, does bear watching. These storms have been rotating very weakly for the past hour or so, hour and 15 minutes. And then area to the south here, this area down here by the Salem and Luca area does bear watching here. We have a little bit of rotation picking up where this red and green on the right side of your screen are meeting. That's going to be your area of interest here as that pushes off to the Luca Xenia area. This is going to be south central Illinois. We're going to be keeping an eye on both of these areas of interest. Right now, this one up here does catch my eye a little bit more. It's kind of cool. I just have to hit a button now. I can switch radars, so I want to keep on flipping through everything. Sweet. This warning up here with the tornado possible tag for Effingham and Clay counties goes until 6:45. I'm on Eastern time, guys, so I apologize. It's 6:45 Central time, 7:45 Eastern. Michigan here. Glad y'all cover these states. Yeah, no problem. Wicked weather. We love doing it. I absolutely love doing it. So area to the south here is now weakening here. We saw an area pick up just about a scan ago. Although along this line, would not be shocked to try to see something spin up there. The area of interest does look to be weakening at this point. So there's where it was, zooming way in here, where that square on your screen is, right on the right side of your screen right here. Next scan is weakening that back out. So we'll watch that line in entirety. But overall, this does look to be staying pretty relatively weak. I'm not going to say it's not going to be done, but at this point in time, these storms aren't really exploding like we want to see. Although I am on my other screen here, you can see these orange squares. We zoom way in here. Just south of Alma, there is a train spotter reporting up to 1-inch hail. And that was as of 5:53, sorry, Central Time. There's also one up here of by public report by Farina of 1-inch hail as well. And that is going to be from MPing, and that was as of 6:04 p.m. So we also have a wind report back here by Carlisle of some wind damage just to the west of the lake here. What lake is this? Carlisle Reservoir is what it is. This was a report of trees down. Sorry, wind damage of trees down by a train spotter. just to the west of Carlisle Reserve, just north of Carlisle proper. So these storms do have some severity to them, getting some hail reports as well as some wind damage reports. So these do carry severe potential. We're seeing isolated severe happen with these storms as they move closer to the Indiana border. Although we're not particularly close just yet, we're about 2/3 of the way through the state of Illinois. So if these can contain strength across into Indiana, we're looking at that in about probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, if they continue right around 40 miles per hour. So not expected to hit Indiana tonight, but if you guys are out there in southwest Indiana, definitely be on alert from about Sullivan south to Evansville. But if you're closer to like Vincennes, Washington area, you guys should probably be on a little bit more alert than further north. So how is Sullivan, Indiana? So right now, let's take a peek at radar. You guys are just getting some scattered rain showers. This line is technically moving towards you at this point. I don't know if it's going to make it all the way to you, though. It's supposed to weaken as it continues off to the east. So there's a chance it probably will make it to you, but whether it's severe or not is a toss up at this point. You're like the very northern fringe of that line, I'd say. So anywhere north of Sullivan, you guys are good, but south of there needs to be a bit more so concerned. All right, take back. Oh, I apologize. My radar is not up. Well, it is, but the wrong one. I get confused now. Back here to Sullivan, just to show you where you guys are at. You're up here, right there. You just got some scattered rain showers around you here. This line is the more so concerning line, pushing up your way. Although whether that gets there in time before it weakens is a toss up. So I would expect it to weaken just a bit as it continues off your way, but definitely be on alert tonight later on. If I were to track this, I'd give you an estimated time here as well. It says Sullivan in about an hour and a half. So roughly, are you in Eastern or Central time over there? If you're in Eastern time, that's going to be roughly 9 p.m. for you. If you're in Central time, roughly 8 p.m. Give or take a couple of minutes. It depends on how fast these storms are going to move. Right now, they're not really moving very fast at all. It actually just got downgraded 25 miles per hour at this point. So it went from 50 to 35 to 25. These storms are barely moving. All right, go ahead and zoom back in here. This up by Horde. This area back here may be trying to curl back in on itself. Have to keep an eye on that. Look at our velocity here. Yeah, nothing tight about this at all. Like there's nothing that's like, hey, look, that could be a tornado. But it's like rotating in a way where you gotta keep an eye on it because it could tighten up, and then at that point, like, okay, that could be a tornado. Like it's just kind of staying weaker right now, which is great news. I'm curious, that warning expires in about 8 minutes. So I'm curious if they're going to extend this. If this does get extended, the counties would be Jasper. Looks like Clay County stays in. The very east portion of Clay County would be included, and perhaps Richland County. So the main counties would be Jasper and Richland, and a continuation for Clay County as well. So we'll see if they do that or not. It's about to move outside of the warning box, so I wouldn't be shocked if they did here. Although this particular storm doesn't look to have any recent reports of severe, whether it's hail or wind. The last report came from Farina in Fayette County, and that was a one-inch hail report. I gotta hop off here probably about 7:55 or so. I gotta do a live stream for our Michigan account at 8 p.m. And if these storms are still cranking, I'll hop back on here and go live again, just so you guys watching will know. I might have to split the stream here, or leave it running as a radar stream in the background and come back to it. I might just do that actually. I might just leave the radar up here and then come back to it once I'm done with the Michigan stream. So I'm going to take it back a 2-panel look here. Yeah, this area up here catches my eye the most. Like a bookend vortex type of feature back up here. It's not very organized though, that's for sure. Let's take a peek around the area again down here in South Illinois. Just some scattered rain showers here. I don't even see lightning with these storms. Is Louisville in any danger? Louisville, you guys are not really. You're too far east tonight. Could get some rumbles of thunder later on this evening, but overall, the severe risk is going to be to your west. Wouldn't be concerned about that over there for you guys. Looking back a bit further north here, central Illinois is basically just clear with some rain showers near Urbana, Danville area. Indiana itself looks to be pretty much just rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder here. Back up here toward North Indiana, yeah, just scattered rain showers here. A couple lightning strikes around Lafayette, Logansport area here. Up here toward Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, and Michigan, not seeing any lightning, but could get some good downpours with that. No severe weather anywhere besides Illinois for tonight. Looking at Ohio here as well, pretty much dry there in Ohio. So up here in Wisconsin, you guys are passing that rain off to Michigan. It's just rain at that point. So again, only really storms, so to speak, are going to be here in South Illinois through the evening hours, perhaps Southwest Indiana as well. But this area here does look to be, honestly, I don't really see much in the way of anything to cover with this at this point. Everything looks pretty weak. So what do you guys think? Should I hop off here and jump back on if anything happens, or should I leave the radar stream up, then come back when I'm done with the other stream? Because either way, I got to hop off here and do a stream for Michigan. But I can leave it up if you guys want the radar to be up and running. Let me know. Got about 10 minutes or so before I want to hop off here and get ready. What's up, Samuel from Mississippi? Mississippi, you're way down there. You're from Vicksburg? You're all clear for the night. I don't see any storms down there for you guys right now. So luckily, these storms are remaining pretty much below severe limits, or just at severe limits, really. We have a couple severe reports here. Nothing to write home about, though. Just your isolated 1-inch hail and some trees knocked over. Nothing too bad. Rotation does appear to be quite weak with these storms. I wouldn't expect it to really significant, or in fact, they just dropped that warning. So the warning up here for Clay and Effingham counties is now dropped. They may extend that still. I'm not sure. But they actually dropped it early, so I'm assuming they're not going to continue that. So that's great news. Tomorrow, Samuel, I'm not sure the forecast. This is a Great Lakes account. It's like Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin. We don't really cover out of state unless it's like a huge event. But for tomorrow, I can tell you what your outlook is. Give me 1 second here. I can give you an update here. Mississippi tomorrow is in a level 1 out of 5 risk, so a pretty low risk for you, but still a risk nonetheless. Your hazard's going to be wind, hail, and tornadoes as well for tomorrow in Mississippi. So you are in a low threat tomorrow. I'm not sure why we're not using this, but we can use this now. There we go. I do have the overlay set up, but I guess it's a bit too late to use it now. All right. Well, being that these storms are not really doing much of anything interesting, I am going to hop off here. So thank you guys for watching. If anything does happen to go warned for a tornado or significant severe, I'll hop back on here. But as of right now, I have to hold on. Down here by Luca is an interesting area now. We'll watch that one more scan at least. But I will have to hop off here and stream in about 10 minutes to our Michigan account for a weekly stream. So I'll stay on here for now, watch this area. Depending on when it does, I'll either leave the stream up and come back to it, or I'll just end it and then come back to it either way. Otherwise, I gotta get ready to hop off here momentarily. But anyway, south of Luca here, south of Highway 50, watch that area close. What is this area up here now too? Whoops, how'd that get on? There we go. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take a zoom in look here on my other radar here. And I'll leave it right there. We'll go ahead and zoom out with this one. Perfect. All right, see you, Samuel. Do me a favor if you're just tuning in or if you're watching for a while, hit that like button, whether on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook watching. Would appreciate that. It helps us out significantly with algorithm, stuff like that with Facebook and YouTube especially. Helps get the word out to more people as well. Would appreciate that from you guys. It is free, and all it takes is a second to do. Alien invasion tomorrow. Heard it here first. Appreciate you, Samuel. All right, that area that we were just talking about there is weakening back out there. So, what I'm going to do is go ahead and hop off here. And like I said, I'll hop back on if anything else happens. But otherwise, I hope nothing happens, and hopefully we'll see you guys next severe threat. But in the case of anything does happen after I'm done streaming up Michigan, I will be back on here for Illinois and perhaps Indiana. So, with that being said, appreciate you. Hit that like button for me on your way out, and hopefully see you guys not tonight, but the next time we have to go live. So stay safe, guys.